Did you know that you could have made more than 90,000 Kenya shillings from an investment that you made of only Kenya shillings 250,000? Yes, you could have made as low as 20,000 and as high as 91,000. Let me explain. I will give you 3 scenarios of how, if you invested in 3 different categories, how much you would have made. And by the end of this video, you will decide whether this is an investment you can consider as a solo investment, maybe 2 of the investments or 3 of the investments, and see how you can make money from low risk investment to medium to high risk. The 3 options we are looking at today will be investing in a SACCO, investing in special funds, and investing in the new ABSA Gold ETF listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Hello good people, hope you're doing well. Jessie is my name and this is the Money and Growth Circle, where we are working towards financial peace and ultimately financial freedom. If this is your kind of content, you can join the circle. Let's get to the video. We've talked about 3 options that you can consider. We'll start by explaining the 3 investments. Number 1, let me talk about the ABSA Gold ETF. You can now be able to buy and sell it in the stock market. That is the Nairobi Securities Exchange. And the return you get from the gold ETF is capital gains, not dividends. So let's be clear, there are no dividends from the ETF, there is only capital gains. Okay? Number 1, why did I say that you can make over 90,000? The reason is, towards the end of 2025, the gold ETF was retailing for 4,500 Kenya shillings. So the reason I'm saying by now you would have made 91,000 is, if you had 250,000 to invest and you decided to put all the money in the gold ETF, right now it's retailing at 6,200. 200,000 back then would have bought you 55 shares. The 55 shares today are valued at 341,000, which is 91,000 profit. Please note, you can only make the 91,000 if you decide to sell all the units of gold you hold today. That is the 55 units of gold. Okay? So do not expect dividends from the gold ETF, but you can get capital gains. So if you bought at 45, you bought 55 shares, and now you want to dispose them, you would dispose them at 341,000, making a profit of 91,000. So in investment 1, we made 91,000. For anyone who invested and they decide to liquidate the ETF. Option number 2, assuming you invested the 250,000 in a special fund like Kuza, Momentum, Mansa X, and others, okay? And you put in the 250,000. They gave an average return of 20%, which means you would have made 50,000. So we have option 1, gold ETF, 91,000. Option 2, you would have invested in the special fund like Mansa X and Kuza Momentum. You would have made 20%, which is around 50,000. Option 3 is if you decided to invest in a SACCO. Yes, a SACCO is an investment in 2 aspects. 1, you become a shareholder by becoming a member of a SACCO and you buy shares. So assuming you have shares of 50,000 and you have deposits of 200,000, making a total of the 250,000. Disclaimer: this is on assumption that you don't have a loan. But if you have a loan, the returns could be less because you could be paying more interest on loan, which more or less cancels out with any interest on deposits you get or any dividend you get on the shares. So let's be very clear, it's not automatic that you have made money from the SACCO. Let's take an assumption of you don't have a loan at all. That will make our work easier, okay? So if you have 200,000 in deposits, you get interest on deposits from your SACCO, and let's assume you even got it at 11%. That means you get 22,000, and you're going to be taxed 5%. That gives you 20,900. That is net return. For the dividends, assuming you have bought shares worth 50,000 and you get dividends on your 50,000 at say 16%, how much was your SACCO giving? I'm actually curious and would love to know, because this is that season where people are getting dividends. How much is your SACCO paying? Let me know in the comment section. If you got dividends at 16%, then it means you got 8,000 less withholding tax, which means you get 7,600. In total for the year, you get 28,500. That translates to 11% return on your investment. So you have the three options. Let's get to the good, the bad, and the ugly of each of the investment. And we start with the Gold ETF. First, it has given you the highest returns at 36%. It hedges you against inflation because, as we all know, chances of gold appreciating are high. It is easy to buy and sell in the stock market. The cons are it is volatile, it tends to fluctuate. And remember, I said if you're investing in the stock market, you should not have emotional instability, or you should not be stressing over your investment, and you should only invest what you would be willing and ready to lose, so that you don't spend all your thoughts or your time thinking about the investment that you put aside in the stock market. Of course, it does not have guaranteed returns, especially if you want to continue holding it, unless you accumulate it and then you dispose it and you get returns by way of capital gains. Again, the timing for selling matters, because you have to sell when the price is in your favor. Okay, so once again, as an investor in the stock market, you should not put your emergency fund in the stock market or funds that you may require within a short time, because it's going to give you a headache when you want to liquidate. Number two, special funds. What are the pros? Strong returns at 20%, that's reasonable. Of course, they're not assured, and past performance does not guarantee the same returns. It can be higher or less. They are professionally managed, and they're also regulated. They have higher growth than the traditional assets. The cons: they are riskier than the SACCO and the money market because of the fluctuations. The returns are not guaranteed. Sometimes there's no transparency as to where they're investing, and sometimes, actually most of the times, we don't even know how much they get for them to decide to pay us a certain percent. So there is that aspect. Maybe they're making twice the much they're paying us, and then they declare less to the investors. Yeah. Number three, SACCO. Pros: stable and predictable income. If you have been a member of a SACCO for a while, you know that every year you get dividends, every year you get interest on deposits. And if you don't, you need to reevaluate your SACCO, because ideally, if they're in business, they should be able to pay you returns every year, and this should actually give you a sign that your SACCO is stable and they are able to pay dividends when they fall due. It's low risk, and it's accessible to many. The SACCO also gives you loan against your savings and guarantors, which is actually one of the most attractive aspects of the SACCO. But I did a detailed video about the SACCO, so you can check it out. I think it's about 3 or 4 videos back, and you can be able to understand the 360 of a SACCO and evaluate whether it is actually adding value to your life or not. Cons: you get reasonably lower returns as compared to the special funds and the ETF, but I would say it's a bit stable. And the good thing is that if your SACCO is stable enough, it's constant. The only problem would be if your SACCO is not financially doing well, they might not be able to pay dividends over time. It is giving you better returns than money market fund, but remember, money market fund is compounded, unlike the SACCO, which gives you a flat rate. So you may feel like they are more or less balancing. Yeah. It has less liquidity. If you want to get your money, it takes time because you have to write to the SACCO. You wait for when the funds will be available for you to be refunded and all those things. So I don't know how long most SACCOs do, but I know some take a month or 2 before you actually get your money back. So if you have an emergency, by the time you're getting your money back, the emergency has drained you, so to speak. The growth is lower because you are saving and then borrowing. So you actually end up borrowing your money. You end up paying interest on your money as compared to a bank where you borrow other people's money and you're paying interest for other people's money. But in a SACCO, you borrow your money and you pay interest on it. The good thing is the return you get could balance at some point. And this is an assignment. Can you compare, if you have a loan in your SACCO, the amount of interest you paid last year versus the returns that you have received this year? To make your work easier, compare both the interest on deposits and the dividends. And let me know in the comment section whether they are breaking even or you're just losing more or you're gaining more. If you don't want to comment, just make an analysis for your own use. Of the 3, which is the best approach, or which one should you invest in? I always state that these investments are not for everybody, and it is important to note where your category lies. And once again, if you want to get into any investment, you need to engage a professional to guide you, and a professional who will not be biased to give you a specific side of the story without giving you an opportunity to understand the real position of the investment. So if you want maximum growth, you can consider the ABSA Gold ETF. If your goal is professional management and steady growth, then you can go to the special funds. If your goal is stability and safety, then you can consider the SACCO. The best thing about being a SACCO member, you don't have to borrow a loan. You can just put your savings there or your investment there. At the end of the year, you get your dividends, you get your interest on deposits, and celebrate. You don't have to borrow. It is actually one of the safer options of investment, and it gives a decent constant returns. What you might find in most SACCOs is there is no growth or appreciation in returns, but there is stability. Sometimes you need stability. So if you have, or you can raise 250,000 by the end of this year, and you're wondering how to allocate, number 1, I have stated the different categories of who should invest where. So wherever you lie is where you should invest. However, should you feel you're aggressive enough to consider the 3 options, here is how I would propose to go about it. Number 1, before you think of investment, you should ensure that your emergency fund is in place. That is 3 to 12 months worth of living, such that if you require not to work, you have 12 months of thinking through what to do next. So we have confirmed that we have at least 6 months. Let's not even say 12 months, let's just say 6 months. We have at least 6 months worth of living. Step number 2, now you decide on investment. And remember, your investments depends on your risk appetite. You don't want to be distressing every night as you try to think, now is my money working? I don't know. No. So you want to get into an investment that you understand, an investment that will not give you heartache, and an investment that will grow your money. So if I had 250,000 today that I want to invest, or I can be able to raise 250,000 by the end of this year. Remember, we are running our 52-week saving challenge, so it's still achievable if you don't have the money today. So how would I allocate? I would take 100,000, put it in a special fund that is Kuza Momentum Special Fund. The link is in the description if you want to open an account. I would take the second 100,000 and put it in the Gold ETF. It has demonstrated growth and some level of stability, so it is something I would consider putting my money in. And the 50,000 that is remaining, I would put it in the SACCO, because again, you want some level of safety. So I would take 100 to the Kuza Momentum Special Fund, 100 to the Gold ETF, and the 50 to the SACCO. And get ready for next year to get some dividends. At least you can be sure you would get a portion from each. Remember, it is important to spread your risks so that you maximize on returns and still save yourself headache, such that if something goes south, you would still be able to salvage some of your investment. I'd love to know whether this video has been helpful in you deciding which way to go, and I still insist you need to get professional guidance before you get into the investment, so that you understand the 360 of the investment before you get into it. Don't come crying, oh, I wish I knew. You know the investment you're getting in. You can win or lose. Like I always say, some risky investments, you can get high returns or you can lose. Yeah, so at whatever level you are is what mostly determines what next to do. Because like now, if you don't have an emergency fund, the thought of an ETF, the thought of a special fund is a bit pushy, because if anything goes south and you cannot be able to liquidate the special fund, I shared a video on the special funds. You can also check it out so that you also get to understand what these special funds are and why they give you these high returns. Okay, so if you have any other questions, comments, remarks, or topics you want us to discuss in subsequent videos, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new, thank you so much for coming back to watch our video, especially to the new members. We have grown by over 500 subscribers. I don't take it for granted. I appreciate each and every member of the SACCO, and your input counts. So keep sharing the feedback. I see everything. I try to respond as much as possible. And for the ones who have requested for videos, they are definitely coming in subsequent videos. So make sure you're subscribed so that every time we have a new video, you will be notified and you'll be able to keep up with our ongoing investment series. See you on the next one. Bye.